Today is an unusual day here in Oklahoma, at least unusual for this time of year. It's not even November yet, and we're having a major ice storm. I'm going to show you sort of what's happening, but it's some of the craziest things that we've had around here in quite some time. We're no strangers to ice storms in Oklahoma, but to have one in October is extremely rare. And so let's take a quick look around and see what's actually going on in our town. Okay, so based on everything that we're seeing, it looks like we've done pretty well here at our house. We don't have just a ton down, as you can see, sort of back over my shoulder. We've got a few. The camper hasn't been damaged. The house hasn't been damaged at this point, but it appears like the wind is going to pick up just a little bit, and if it does, this is going to be very interesting because the trees, they just can't take the weight of the ice with all the leaves and everything. Normally, when we get an ice storm like this, it's during later part of the winter, you know, once the leaves have fallen and the trees are much lighter. But to get one while there's still lots of green leaves on the trees makes them so heavy. It's going to be a long day here, as it's not expected to get above freezing. If it does, maybe a degree or two, we'll have to see. But this is just, this is hard on all of it, not just our town, but everybody in Oklahoma that's having to face this ice storm right now. I may have spoken a little bit too soon about getting lucky, as we've had a few more branches come down, so I'll take you outside and let's take a look and see what we see. This is what we find. It's quite a mess. I probably shouldn't be standing right here, so I'm under some pretty good sized branches. But as you can see, we've had a couple of big ones come down. It's pulled the power pole off the house, like I said, and as you can see, sort of over my right shoulder there. What a mess. This is a big mess for everybody. Okay, so we talk about first responders in our country all the time. Police, fire, medics. Those guys are amazing, and what they do, risk their lives every day in and out. Another set of first responders that we don't often think about are guys that work in these trucks right here. Linemen. They keep our power on in all kinds of crazy situations. What we've just gone through with an ice storm, there is power lines down all over the place. And these guys will get out in any conditions. Hurricane, tornado, ice storm, snowstorm, it doesn't matter. They get out, they get up on these poles, and they get our lights on as quickly and as safely as possible. Linemen, thank you for all that you do for us.
Okay, so I'm interrupting right here because at this point the sun had gone down, that ice storm was actually over, but we had to wait for like 3 days for the power company to come turn off our power. The limbs, as you saw, knocked the weatherhead off the house, but nothing shorted, so it was still on, and we were not real sure if it was safe to go out and start messing around in the in the limbs. So we went and camped out at my mom's for 4 days. We took over her couch, her love seat, her cot, her floor, her dining room, her guest room, her kitchen. She has a pretty small apartment, and so when you put all of us in there and the schedules and 3 dogs, so it was her dog Buddy and our dogs Sadie and Pepper, it was a lot. So we're going to jump forward to where we began the cleanup here of the limbs, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, welcome to cleanup day. Today is going to be the day that we start this cleanup process. Power finally got turned off, so I'm ready to jump in, get the chainsaw out, and let's see what happens. Okay, so for a little perspective of what we've got to deal with here, as you can see, I'm standing right here, and up there, right back up there, that's where these branches are connected. So I've got a little work cut out for me in this process. Not quite sure how I'm going to get it all down. I'm going to cut some, probably see if I can find a tractor to help pull some down, and should have plenty of firewood for a while though, right? On the flip side, the cavalry has shown up. This is not a paid advertisement in any way, but if you're looking for home, auto, or life insurance, my boy down here, Casey Martin in Perkins, Oklahoma, can take care of all your needs. He's a farmer's insurance agent, and he is the best. He's actually out here helping me clean up this mess right now as we speak. Okay, so a couple of hours in here and we've made some progress, but as you can hear, there's still saws going around the neighborhood. This has been an unusual day. We've gotten through a lot of the easy to get to stuff. You can see over my shoulder there that the big stuff is still hanging from the tree. It looks like we're gonna lose the whole oak, which is sad because this oak is probably several hundred years old. But you know, it's just what happens. I gotta be honest with you, of the 2 big oaks that I have in my yard, the one that I thought would go first is not the one that's gonna end up being taken out by this storm. The one behind me I thought would be here much longer than the one that's in front of me that you can't see right now. But that's just not the way it worked out. Man, what a day, cleaning up all this mess. It's odd, we're cleaning up from an ice storm, and I feel like I should have shorts on because it's so warm today. But that's Oklahoma weather for you. Welcome. If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, it'll change.
Well, we saved the big oak. As you saw in the video, we were able to pull down some of those branches. Let me say, that probably wasn't the safest thing in the world, but it sure looked cool. Those branches that came down were about 15 feet tall. If you saw that when they hit the ground and came back up, that the top of it, or the bottom of it, I guess whichever way you look, was almost as tall as the house was. So yeah, they were big branches. We have lots of firewood now once it seasons. I wanted to say thank you to the men that came and helped me. It's awesome to have community where you have friends that depend on you and you depend on them. And I want to say a big thank you to Casey that came over and helped clean up, as well as Leslie, who brought over his son Leo, and they helped. I want to say thank you to Kenneth for use of the trailer, and I want to say a big thank you to Robert, who was the mastermind behind all of the tree cutting. The guy's excellent with a chainsaw, so Robert, thank you. So that's it. We recovered from the ice storm. Since that ice storm, it's been like 70 every day. It's crazy. Oklahoma weather. Who can understand it?